Ricky.
Yes. So there we are. Commented on your video. Okay.
Ooh, I can do that.
Okay. So we are here doing Tarot Delights tonight, and we are doing the devil. That's
Dancing with the Devil.
yes, exactly.
We're just making all the jokes.
Yes, exactly. Because it's there, right? So come on. Even our title tonight is "The Goddesses Do the Devil."
Oh, I love it.
So there we have it. I'm just finding the devil in my round tarot deck, which is R.W. Smith based. Oh, there he is right there, sitting on his throne. So not everyone knows the two people that are there with him are Adam and Eve. So they are chained this time. Like they're also the lovers on the lovers card. It's Adam and Eve because of course they were, as the legend goes, as the Bible goes, they were the first lovers, but this time they're chained. Because they're chained partly because that's what the devil wants, is for us to be chained to him. And a lot of times when the devil card comes up, it means you have some attachment that you're not willing to let go of.
And it's hindering your ability to get past and move higher up in consciousness.
Yes, yeah. And it's often the devil, that our own demons that we're having to battle and overcome. You know, like the old adage says, we'd rather stay with the devil we know, right?
Ooh, yes. I play with that adage a lot.
Yes, because we can get comfortable even in pain and in suffering because it's what we know. The unfamiliar is scary, even if the unfamiliar is better.
Yeah. True, because, I mean, if you live in pain, regardless of what your definition of pain is, at least you know that pain. And you're like, yeah, I can deal with this.
Yeah.
And then what if, you know, the whole what if game is all about the devil.
Right, exactly. Well, you know, like abusive situations, often the person will go back to the abuser because, again, it's the devil they know. Because it's scary to take that step of independence, right? And it's completely understandable. Many of us have been there where it's like, or it's like, I know this situation better than I know having to cut out on my own, having to make that giant step of into the unknown. Now, I got out my Christmas tarot because it is near Christmas.
I know. I'm on a, not meaning to be on a deck splurge, but I just picked up a Halloween deck.
Okay.
As Halloween ended. So it'll be a good feature for next year.
Right.
And I'm toying with the Yuletide Tarot.
Okay. Well, the thing about the Christmas tarot is it only has the major arcana.
Oh, yes. You remember you telling me about that.
Yeah. So this is the devil here. And it says entrapment.
Ooh.
As the key word on it, right? So it's an interesting one. It looks like a chest of drawers, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, something's trapped in there. There's a Christmas stocking on top.
Well, I mean, does it also play into, so I've heard that there's a couple, so there's like Krampus, and then there's also the Yule log, and the lady that if you don't light your Yule log, the kids will run free amok amongst your house, and they're just little brats.
Oh, okay.
In the sense that they'll like cause mischief and make your life a living heck
Right.
for a bit until
You have been around kids. Heck.
Yeah, sorry. I wasn't sure how
You're among adults now.
yeah. Well, once I'm like, can't swear, it takes a while to unhook that.
Yeah, true enough, yeah. I always warn people I'm a sweary tarot reader.
I normally am too, because normally after I come off, my Mondays are not very when we have adult conversations at work are not very clean. But I definitely make my best effort for in front of the kids.
Right. Now the cool thing about the Christmas tarot though is, or this particular Christmas tarot deck, is it looks at the past, present, and future, sort of like the Christmas Carol.
Oh, I like that spin.
Yeah. So the gods, the ghosts of Christmas past, Christmas present, and Christmas future, and at the end of each one, they also have the Christmas angel message. So the message for the devil is, you're in the wrong. Do right by yourself and others now.
Ooh.
Yes. So because it's a major arcana, a lot of times when it's a major arcana that comes up, it means this is something you need to pay attention to right now because it's becoming more urgent, right? And if you see, like, people will always say things, or often say things like, "Oh, I always get the Tower. I always get the Star. I always get the Fool,"
You're
or
not
whatever.
listening to something.
Yeah, then you're not listening to something, and you're about to get slapped upside the head for it. So, keep that in mind. Now, the Devil card is not the reason why tarot was banned by the church, because it was around
You
for a
would
long time.
think.
Yes, and a lot of people nowadays in modern day times think, well, the devil's in there, so that's why it's evil, right?
Well, I honestly think the tarot, because that's why I think I like the decks that are not as Christianized as, not Christianized in a sense, because I know there's more to the tarot than that. But like the Wildwood Tarot that I'm taking a deep dive into this month is very environmental and leans in on the old gods, more the pagan gods than Christianity. So
Okay.
a lot of, so like mine, it says the Guardian. So like it's a bear skeleton
Interesting.
on guard.
Like a bear, like an actual animal, the bear?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, bears are very guardian
Yeah.
energy.
So it's very much guarding like the path to the cave.
Right, because like hell used to be just the underworld where everybody went.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't like a heaven hell type thing.
No, it's just where you
And
you
there's
know.
even a god hell in Norse mythology.
I'm thinking Greek because I'm thinking Hades. Give me a second.
No, hell, Hel. Or it might be a goddess. I'm not sure.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I
Right.
just can't think of how to say it.
But it's hell, Hel, 1L, and it's a Norse god or goddess as well. But guardian, yeah, it's interesting that they picked bear too, because bear clan, at least in Haudenosaunee, very often, yes, it's a guardian type thing. They're often teachers as well, so guardians of knowledge, even, you know, and the knowledge of death, right? Like, it
Well, I
could
think that's
be-
very important, right? Like I think from beginning when people were, you know, we got out of that survival mode.
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
started contemplating higher consciousness and
Yeah,
higher thoughts.
when we started, like when we first started domesticating
yes.
plants and animals and stuff, we were no longer as nomadic, and so we just started developing villages, which turned into towns, which turned into
Yeah.
skyscrapers and big cities.
And so I feel like there's now room, because we're not fighting for our supper every night. There's that room for us to like contemplate higher forms of thought.
Or The
And-
Simpsons.
Or The Simpsons. Oh my gosh, the amount of times my stepfather fell off his chair laughing
Yeah.
at The Simpsons. I have good
We
family
have
memories
all
of
this
that.
time, and some of the shit we spend
I know!
contemplating. It's like, oh my god! Because when you think back to like the great Greek and Roman thinkers, and
And they
you
were
know,
like people that like sat and contemplated and like had theological and philosophical debates, and we're sitting here binging TV.
Yeah, it's like, look at the way the panda's rolling down the hill. You know, it's like,
Oh, we like Josh and I like to put on it's called Great Animals, Big and Small.
okay.
It's a British show. Bosco loves it because there's like
Oh.
horses and puppies and
Oh, and you
it's-
can see them.
yeah, you can see them, and he
Okay,
like there's like,
cool.
every so often there's a sheep, and he's a corgi, so they're supposed to be bred to like help sheep.
Right.
And he's like, oh, where are the sheep? Can I go?
Yeah, yeah. That's hilarious.
So speaking of what we do in our downtime.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, maybe there's more time wasted because we do have all these modern conveniences, but we're so busy as well.
I feel like we make ourselves busy to not to shy away from. So this is speaking from experience. I think I've said this before. At one point, me and the spiritual world had an understanding, and I'm like, you go over there, leave me alone,
Right.
and I'll stay over here. And I think I definitely used like my
Busyness.
downtime and busyness as a crutch and a badge of honor, when really I was just avoiding a whole bunch of mental stress.
Oh, yeah, yeah. A lot of
So-
us avoid that. And a lot of us avoid hard conversations. And, you know, like our communication hasn't necessarily improved with time. And I mean, like, from the beginning of mankind kind of thing.
And convenience that we have, the convenient ways that we can get a hold of each other
Yeah.
now is bonkers, and yet we still can't communicate.
Yeah. And there's a lot lost in translation.
Mm-hmm.
And like back in the day, a lot of people knew many languages. Like
Mm-hmm.
they knew Latin and French and English and German or whatever.
We've become lazy.
We've become very lazy. And like, I mean, we are North Americans, right? So give that, like, there's probably quite a few Europeans that still know a double language or whatever.
Or triple languages.
Yeah, I mean, as Canadians, we know gagnon. It means you've won.
We know a little bit of French. Unless you live in a bilingual province, then I will give you props to you. I should probably know double languages. I found myself in a double languages. I should probably know more French than I do. I know to understand it. I don't know to speak it. Because I
Okay.
found myself today, I think I was in a 4-5 for like 20 minutes today.
Okay.
And they were doing math in French. And I'm like, okay,
Oof.
hang on. But it was easy enough math because they were just guessing. They were giving math equations and he was trying to figure out how to get them like the right answers, and they were figuring out like if, and talking about perspective too, because he was looking at the number line and he was standing underneath the number line, but like one kid was over here to the far right and one kid was over here to the far left, and if you pointed at the number line, where he was pointing was different perspectives depending on where you were standing. And I got all of that, just didn't understand how he said it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And then he went
yeah.
into like some equation solving, and I'm luckily it's, you know, still simple enough math that I'm not lost. So I was able to keep my student on track. But oh man, do I ever need to learn French?
Yeah, yeah, because I'm in awe of people that can speak more than one language. Because like my husband can speak a few different languages, but he's like a duck to water when it comes to languages. So
Well, they say
yeah.
it's better to do it when you're younger.
Yeah, you're more able to.
Yeah.
But the other thing too is you do start to lose it if you don't use it.
Oh heck yes.
Because my husband grew up speaking French and English, because he spoke French to his father, who's French Canadian, and he spoke English to his mother, who was obviously English. And then he went to a full French school. But now as an adult, because he doesn't speak French as much, he's like, oh, my French is a little rusty. I'm like, way more than I could do. But
Well, and that's it. And I think as the more you're around it, because I took a 2 to 3 week assignment a couple years ago, and they were like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "If you can explain it to me in English, the expectations, and as long as the student meets those expectations, we'll figure out the French."
right.
You know,
yeah.
like the language was less important because there were a lot of other things at play. And that's the only reason why I got away with it.
Oh,
Because
okay.
they typically do like to keep French-speaking people in the classroom. And
Yeah.
I would totally be like, yep, if that's your forte, you go for it.
Yeah. No, that kind of makes sense. Yeah.
Because then it's just easier to work with the kids. But because Kingston is a high military background, and like we have a base, and like there's people from all across Canada and from provinces like Ontario that are technically dual. And,
Yeah.
like dual language.
Yeah.
It's you run into it more.
Right.
And
right.
if you want to work for the government, you better have it.
Yeah, you need to have both languages, that's for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of French people, no, just kidding. Back to the devil.
No. Half my family's French.
Yeah.
I remember going like, oh yeah, I wanted to be a teacher. They're like, get your French, you'll never be out without a job. And I was like, I wish I had listened.
Yeah, right? Yeah, no, I can't speak French to save my life. I anglicize a lot of French. Like, my last name is Gilbert, and we anglicize it for Ontario because most people don't know how to spell Gilbert.
Oh yeah, sounds so much fancier in French.
It doesn't it? Yeah, everything sounds fancier in
It's
French.
true. It's very true.
Sounds so lovely and delicious. Everything sounds like that in French. It's like,
Especially if you don't know what it means. They're like, just talk to me.
yeah, exactly. Bibliothèque. I learned that in grade school.
Yep.
Sounds delicious. It's a library, but
Hey, libraries are great.
oh, I love libraries. Love libraries.
We should see if they'd be okay if we did a podcast from the library.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Find a really old, kind of quaint library. That'd be cool.
I think we may have to
Do a road trip.
do a road trip. Oh, let's take it on the road.
Yeah, there
love
we
this
go.
I love this play.
So this is the devil from my gilded deck. So he's a good-looking man with some horns. He's well built.
Well, I have a woman devil.
Oh, Cool.
a lot of the Secrets of the Witch's Garden. Secrets of the Witch's Garden? Did I just butcher the title?
No, I don't think so. I think you're right.
It's very female leaning but it's a very gentle deck.
Okay.
So when people are like, "Oh, I don't know if I like tarot," I'm like, "Here, try this one."
Wow. Oh wow. Yeah, she's still got like man and woman there.
Yep.
Chained together.
And I feel like she's more like Baphomet almost because she's got the yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Interesting. And she's number 15, which works out to 6. Interesting.
Yeah.
That works out. In my fairy tale deck, it's the big bad wolf.
Oh, that's fair.
It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah, the big bad wolf. I can see him as the
What
devil.
about the Beast? What about Beauty and the Beast? The Beast.
Well, the beast isn't the devil. He's a prince that's been cursed.
Oh yes, that's right. So I
Yeah.
watched Beauty and the Beast recently, and it was the updated version with Emma Watson. I almost called her Hermione.
Oh, okay.
That's what she's most known to play.
Right,
But she does a very good job.
Yes, yes. So in the traditional tarot, the devil is associated with the law of matter, of manifestation in solid or material form. If this energy remains unconscious as it manifests in the human being, it can become stagnant, unyielding, and resistant. And that's interesting, resistant, because one thing I learned is, well, first of all, when you manifest, the step you have to take in order for manifestation to happen is you have to trust and surrender. And that's usually the hardest step.
Hi, still working on it.
Yeah, completely surrendering and just saying, okay, let things unfold as they should. Because when I was going through chemo, one of the nurses told me, stop resisting the pain and just give into it. Because when you do that, the pain subsides.
Oh.
Because when
Well, I
you
mean,
push
isn't that-
against it, it's like, oh, it's so painful, it's so painful. But if you just kind of let it happen, it's still painful. It's not like,
Okay, so
but it's not as bad.
I can equate. Well, not that I've ever been in a car accident that I can remember. That's like when you tense up in a car accident, you'll get much more injured than if you
Yes.
just relax your way into
That's
it.
why drunk people usually
Yes,
don't get
that's-
injured because they're super relaxed.
Because they're like,
Don't
hey, I don't
drink
know
and
what's
drive,
no,
though,
No,
but
we're
if-
not advocating for that. Just a
No.
different example. No, you're right though. Like if you kind of go, okay, my body's on fire, in pain in whatever way,
Mm-hmm.
and then if your brain's constantly fighting it, you're almost wasting resources
Yeah.
that you would put to much better use if you
Yeah.
just accepted that you were in pain.
And the same can be said of any pain that you
Yeah.
experience. Just sink down into it. Because often I do that with my clients when I'm doing trauma sessions. I
nice.
get them to sink down into it. Because when you sink down into it enough and you sit there and you allow the emotions to flow through you or the trauma, because it can't hurt you anymore. It's already been done.
Mm-hmm.
So allow it to flow around you, through you, whatever. Then you become the observer of it.
You can see it from a different perspective too, right?
Yeah, because when you become the observer of it, you now have control of it. And healing can start.
And you're not in it the same way.
Yeah, you're not re-victimizing or rehashing or
Which I feel
re-experiencing.
like my brain just popped off on a few things to do work related things. Cool. Which I can't divulge.
Yeah. So, when you resist the manifestation and you don't trust and surrender, that's when you become jaded and bitter and unyielding. And because a lot of times we feel like something has to happen this way. And the universe is going, yeah, but if you go over here,
It's not going to hurt as much.
it's not going to hurt as much. You're going to get a better thing,
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I feel
and
like-
we'll go, no, that's not the way I planned.
Again, the devil you know versus devil you don't. It's that fear-based reality. And you made me think of like Reiki and how some people are very just, I don't understand it, I don't want to do it. Fine, whatever, to each their own.
Yeah.
But if you try it and you surrender to it, it is amazing how much it can change your life. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not just like, I know I sound like a salesman, but like it's true. I didn't believe it till I had my first like couple sessions, and then I was like, where has this been all my life?
Yeah. I had a similar experience with Reiki. I thought it was woo-woo, and then I experienced it, and I'm like, oh my God, this shit really works.
And I've had a couple skeptics, like, I don't know what, like, my friend bought me this and I'm just doing it to humor them. And I'm like, okay, well, let's see
Yeah.
how you do. And
Yeah.
then they're like, whoa.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, like it's, over meeting the demons, meeting your demons, because we all have them, and learning how, like I said, when you sink down and become the observer, now you can control the demons that often are of our own creation too, right? And when you're doing exorcisms, you ask for the name of the demon partly so you can control them.
Yes.
They
Okay.
do the same thing in spells. Like, what is the name of the person that, you're, who are you? Put your name in it, because then you can control it, right? And it says here, when the spirit is denied, one must meet the shadow of the soul, where fears, attachments, and rigid patterns prevail. A meeting with this shadow aspect of the psyche will surely challenge a person to experience liberation from the past and be reborn to a new consciousness and freedom. And sometimes freedom scares the bejesus out of people.
It's true, because they don't know what to do with it. Because at least in confinement, or at least in the reality that they're currently in, which is not freedom to a lot of ways, they know what to expect.
They know what to expect, and they have a devil to blame.
Yep.
They can say, oh, I can't do it because of this. Oh, I'm no good at this because of that.
Or like what I experienced, my trauma, whatever. But when you learn to work through it, you learn to sit in it for a little bit and let the emotions flow through you. Don't live there. Not fun to live there.
No.
But when you kind of deal with it and you kind of come out the other side eventually, not going to say it's going to be a snap process. Still working on a few over here.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much confidence you can gain, how much perspective you can gain, because you're taking yourself, as you said, out of that like almost victim blaming, in a sense.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
you're like, oh, this happened, but it's not who I am.
Right. Because as a victim, you don't have responsibility.
Yeah.
As a survivor, as a person with freedom, you now have responsibility. And a lot of people don't want that.
Yep.
Because with like sort of heavy as the head that wears the crown, right? Like, it's great to be there. Everybody says they want to be king or queen or whatever. But really coming there means that you have to have some responsibility. Freedom isn't just, I get to do whatever I want, whenever I want, blah, blah, blah. There is aspects of that for sure. But they, like you say, when you're in that victimhood, I'm not responsible for anything. I'm not able to do this, not because I can't, but because someone's stopping me or something is stopping me. Like anxiety is often worn as a badge of honor. Like, I have anxiety, so therefore I can't do A, B, and C.
No, you have anxiety and you push through and do it anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was instilled in me from when I was younger.
Yeah.
Like, just because you have this doesn't mean you can't do it. It just might be harder, or you may have to come at it in a different way.
Challenging, yeah.
And then and until you've tried every way you conceivably know how, and if it still doesn't work, then yeah, that's not your cup of tea. But still push through, and unless it's like physically hurting you.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, everyone has a bigger challenge or different way. Depths of challenges, right? But at the same time, you can't just use that as an excuse, right? Like, I have agoraphobia, and I've had that challenged many times. And after COVID, after the lockdown, it was
Well, yeah, that was
huge.
because you went back into it like really bad.
Oh, I went back into it. Yeah,
I mean,
I was very familiar with it again.
I questioned whether or not I kind of went that way, because I was like, ooh, home is cozy. I don't want to leave home.
Yeah, and
Like,
a lot of people didn't know how to, talk to each other or how to be around each other, because, as humans, we need that contact, right? And so, yeah, like, I had to baby step my way back into the world again. And sometimes you have to do that, and that's okay, So, like, we all have challenges, right? Like, I have dyslexia as well. I'm just riddled with things, but I have dyslexia. It doesn't stop me from reading.
Oh no.
Right? Like, some people will say I have dyslexia, so therefore I don't read.
I tell all the kiddos, especially the kiddos that struggle to read. I was in a kinder class today, and I was like, oh yeah, you guys don't know any of this.
Yeah, right?
Because I float different grids, so I have to like brain check myself about what is
Yeah, what
What is-
level are we
what
at?
level of expectation should I actually be expecting out of these ones?
So there'll be no War and Peace in this class?
Oh, God,
okay.
no. But it's really interesting because one of the kiddos was struggling, and I was like, guess what? It'll get easier.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't look like it right now, and you're gonna love reading because all of this stops being like chunked, like word by word, and in sentences. Like they're working on sentences right now.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, look at you go.
yeah.
No, it was really good.
Do they still have Jack and Jill? Or are they done with Jack and Jill?
Well,
That's
no,
a
there's
other
a really
era.
interesting. Yes, it is another era. It was really interesting. They use it's out of this. I want to say the state of Florida. Mm-hmm. I really should try and bring it with me one of these days because it's absolutely amazing. Like the phonetical boundaries and things that it works really well. It's called UFly,
Oh, okay.
and it's like a different. So you teach the digraphs and a whole bunch of basically the letters and what the letter sounds make and then how they blend together in a certain order
okay.
that make it digestible.
Okay.
And then for the majority of kids, that works.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Just like, two vowels go walking and the first one does the talking.
Yep.
Still have that from grade 1.
Well, I learned something interesting at a professional development. So you know how we were taught like W is wha?
Yeah.
No, it's woo.
It's woo.
It's woo.
Woo.
Or so it's not the
Wonderful.
You have to take
Wonderful.
the
What?
out of all wa was one of them. There was another letter
That's
that
weird.
both my coworker and I are like, oh,
Walrus.
wall.
Wall.
Because remember, you're not doing wa.
Yeah.
You're doing wall.
Wall. What? Why?
Yeah.
Now I want to say W or to C. Like maybe
It's
I
really
never said
interesting.
what.
I should
just.
maybe in a month or so because I gotta print out the I want to put them in my bag of tricks whenever I go to a different school.
Mm-hmm.
They have basically code packs of the different letter sounds.
Oh, okay.
And I got one in an email, so I need to print it out. So I
Oh,
have it.
nice.
Yeah,
Cool.
so I'll test her.
Yeah. Oh, that's hilarious. Wow.
But it makes you think and reevaluate versus how we were taught versus
yeah.
how they're
Yeah.
how much more we know about phonics and digraphs and how sound is interpreted by the brain and how it comes out
Yeah.
your mouth.
Yeah.
People write their PhDs on this. It's insane.
That's crazy. Wow. That's, yeah. Well, I mean, it's good because it shows that education is continuously moving forward. Because when I was in school, dyslexia wasn't even a thing, right? And now it is. And then now they recognize that people learn in different ways. It's not always like Jack went up the hill and Jill fell down and,
Yeah, and I feel like there's more
or is it Jane? Jane, I think
No, it's Jill.
Oh, is it Jill?
It might be Jane. I don't know. Depends on the version you were taught.
Jack. Well, Jack and Jill were the rhyme of going up the hill, and I think it was Jack and Jane actually, or something like that, in our readers.
I don't know.
And then there was Mr. What was the big shaggy dog? Mr.
Clifford?
No, Mr. Shaggy or something like that.
So we're dating ourselves because we obviously went to school in 2 different times.
Yeah.
I still get to watch Clifford. One of my kiddos I help look after.
Oh,
likes
okay.
Clifford.
Yeah.
So every so often I'll come in for lunch duty or something and an episode of Clifford will be on.
Yeah.
I miss 2D animation. Can I just say that?
Yes, right? Yeah. Now everything's so sophisticated.
And computerized and 3D rendered.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what happened to 2D animation?
I know, right?
There's something very wholesome and
you're
nostalgic.
watching a cartoon.
Yep.
They have cartoons for adults now, and it just feels weird to watch a cartoon that is an adult themed.
Well,
the
I would
anime.
argue most of Looney Tunes was
Well, yeah, I mean there was jokes in there for definitely the adults, but even there's cartoon porn even, and I'm like, what? Seriously?
yeah.
I don't know. It just seems strange.
How did I know that? There was a website I found in college and someone found it for me and sent it to me and it had nothing to do with that area of stuff.
Yeah.
But it was called Stumble Upon.
Oh.
So you pressed it and it would lead you to a random website. So you would learn facts. It was just random stuff like this is how snowflakes are made or
Oh, okay.
this is how, something pops up in the animal kingdom or just the most randomest stuff. And I'm like, cool, I'm getting a degree. And every morning I open my email, I'm learning something new.
Oh, that's cool.
Nothing to do with school.
Yeah. And random stuff is often like the stuff you'll remember, right?
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
why do hippopotamuses only have 4 teeth or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
That's not a fact, by the way.
Now I have hippopotamus for Christmas in my head. My brain always goes back to song lyrics.
I mean, I know why there's porn anime because I believe it was Japan or China, I can't remember which, that they weren't allowed to have porn that was live.
Oh, is that why?
I know way too much
Oh,
about porn.
that's
I don't know.
interesting. We should have an after
People I hang out with
dark
maybe.
tarot delights.
Yeah, exactly.
Doing some like extra research.
Yeah, exactly. Not the delights you were thinking of.
No, but I mean, kind of goes in with the devil and the
It does. It
kind of
does, yes.
you know, going after things that are
Because when he
necessarily
shows
good for
up,
you.
he's often about addictions and chains, you know, and things like that. And
But I feel like
And-
anything in moderation shouldn't be an addiction, within reason.
within reason, yes.
Don't quote me.
Yeah. Everything in moderation, including moderation. Sometimes you just need to drink your face off. Let's just face it.
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't done it, but I've been almost there. I've been like, this would be a solution to my problems, a very
Oh.
short-term solution,
Right. Yeah.
but it would kill the pain for one night.
Right. No, I've actually drank my face off. And
Nope, couldn't do it. I watched too many people be very stupid,
yeah, I've
and I'm
been-
like, can't do it.
Yeah. Well, I'm Irish on one side and Indian on the other. Native American, indigenous. What are you gonna do? I'm fun on a Saturday night. Let's just put it that way.
Sorry, you're making me
Sorry,
laugh. You're
sorry.
making me cough.
Oh
I'm
dear.
gonna
dear.
sound like I smoke 10 packs a day
Yeah.
for next month.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh. To go further back on our previous, the Norse mythology, Hel,
Yeah.
the goddess of death in the underworld. She's the daughter of a trickster god. So she's the daughter of Loki.
Oh.
And rules over the realm of the dead, which is also called Hel,
Right.
her kingdom.
And I think in Norse mythology, the world of the dead or the underworld had many different rooms.
Oh, okay. It's said to be in the north and downward. So I wonder if that's like in relation to the tree.
Oh, okay. North and down. So go north and then go down as far as you can dig.
Man, now I want to do I gotta reboot the blog. There's stuff we talk about in here that I'm like, I want to go deeper on that. Be like, see Tarot Delights for the Cliff Notes version. If you want to know more, go here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because like I know one of the tests that a Celtic shaman has to go through is you have to be buried alive
Oh no. No.
for 12 hours.
12 hours?
Yeah. I think it's about 12 hours, but it's an overnight thing. Because you're
Can you knock me out beforehand?
no, your shaman that is training you is with you the whole night.
Okay. Can you go in a cave? Or does
no,
it have to be like dirt on you?
It's usually dirt on you. There's a breathing hole, of course.
Okay,
right?
I will.
But yeah,
all right.
you're
there
buried
goes that.
alive.
There goes that plan. I actually was looking into Celtic shamanism, and I will, but I will never be certified because no, thank you.
Yeah, it's a scary thing. Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, you're but like I said, you're not left alone.
No,
necessarily,
but like still.
but
that
you're not
goes
sitting there talking to the person.
No, but like you still. That goes against like survival instincts.
Well, it's meant to kind of put you in the dark because I did a similar thing as well. I was on a retreat. It was when I was doing my high priestess training, and we were put into a yurt in the middle of the night, and we had to meditate with our eyes open, but it was so dark.
You couldn't see like your hand in front of
You couldn't see your hand in front of you.
See that I'd be okay with.
And that was kind of weird because it's like my eyes are open, but I can't see anything, and I'm
It
supposed to be
plays with
meditating.
your depth perception.
It does.
But at least you're not like buried alive like that.
Yeah. Not everyone could do it though.
Oh well, that
There
'cause
were some that had to get out. They're like, I can't do this. Because they were getting that claustrophobic feeling because it is very close to.
Well, because you
being
don't know
buried
where
alive.
your parameters are, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, I would, like, for me personally, I would have to dig down, find a place that I liked, and be like, this is where I am, because what I'm actually
Yeah,
in,
it
no thanks.
it definitely fucks with you, and you're kind of like
Yeah.
You know, I'm just so disoriented right now, and you're in there for a few hours.
Okay, but that's better than 12 hours being buried.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. Yes.
Like, if that's an option, I'll take that over being. Oh. Okay, we've
Yeah.
unlocked a new fear for Kayla. Oh.
There's a lot of really intense sort of trials that you have to go
Well,
through.
and that
to-
makes sense because, like, if something is worth getting or understanding, there's always a price to be paid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
magic always has a price. I don't know where I read that recently.
Yeah.
What did I? Maybe I didn't dream it. That was something else.
It's not always a bad price.
No, but they're always. Nothing is free.
Yeah. There's always an exchange.
Yeah, energy exchange or
Just like when you pay money for your bread
Offering, yeah.
or whatever, you're exchanging your money for the bread or
and
for
technically the money is that
apple
your
or-
exchange for your time.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, in this realm, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, yeah, you pay for my time and my expertise
Mm-hmm.
that I'm bringing to the table so that you don't have to be buried alive to know what I know.
Okay, we're gonna research. Let me rephrase that. I'm gonna research that more because I did want to look into Celtic shamanism, but if the certification comes with being buried alive, I will do all of those things, but that.
But that.
I can be like all but done Celtic shamanism. Well,
Ah, it-
academia joke there.
Yeah. But I mean, that's sort of the devil is learning how to
Yeah.
that full trust and surrender. Like he's the opposite of the trust.
You're
and
not
surrender.
trusting. You're relying on your own instincts. You're not giving into the process. Like it's interesting because depending on what resource I use, because a lot of the Wildwood Tarot, which is where the Guardian, the skeleton of the bear comes up in the Guardian, it's very environmental and tries to predate Christianity a little bit, and I really like what it says and like kind of the frame of mind that it has. But with the Rider-Waite Smith, I'm loving the way that they pick apart the double card, and like so the inverted pentagram would be like you need to ground yourself because it's pointing towards the ground.
Right.
So there's different things that mean, so like within the card, within the symbology of the card, there's different things.
Because like when, well, my pentagram is actually not inverted, but it is normally, yeah, in this one, yeah, it is inverted. Now, 9th degree Wicca studies the inverted pentagram.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so
I still can't get on board that this is my own bone to pick. I've learned recently that in Wicca, tarot switched to the suits. And I'm like, nope, can't do it.
yeah, I tend to go with the traditional, you know, what the suits mean.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
why do you need to change something that's already working? Anyway, that's my own beef. We don't need to rehash that. But I also find it really interesting, where was it? Torn Against Dependency. So, however, there's so many good points to the devil card. So I'm reading a little bit from, what is it? The Ultimate Guide to the Rider-Waite Smith Tarot.
Really good book, by the way.
Amazing book.
It will pinpoint every little thing on every little card. Because the thing about the Rider-Waite Smith deck, as you know, nothing is put there accidentally.
No, and this is where, so like, if I know the general meanings of the card, but if there's something in a reading that like really sticks out at me, and I'm like, or if there's something a client points out, I'm gonna be like, oh yes, and then next time I see them, I've probably looked at this book and went, so the card that you pointed out last time, it said this about this certain little object you were looking at, and that's the message it wanted to say. Am I going to remember that in the moment? Not necessarily, but it might stick in my brain for next time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's little tidbits of information in here, and it has like really interesting, like card of the day, love reading, which I don't do a lot of love readings.
I do them all the time.
I'm like, either people don't come for your love readings, that's fine. Don't have no judgment. But like, I'm a big believer in, I'm like, you want something, go after it. Don't rely on a deck of cards to tell you what to do.
Well, no, but it can give you guidance a
Oh,
lot
for
of
sure.
the times. Like, a lot of my love readings are people who are going through heartache. and heartbreak.
And sometimes it's hard to move on from that.
And what the cards often do is provide healing.
Yeah, that's fair.
You
I
know,
like,
or perspective too.
well, that's it. It's perspective. And I like what people learn about themselves,
Yeah.
even though you're the one doing the reading.
Yeah.
Because I've
yeah.
done that even with you. Like, I've sat in a reading that you're giving, and I'm like, oh, I just had a moment.
Right.
And then
yeah.
I've had a whole other epiphany about either something that's directly related to the cards or something the cards brought up that I thought about later. So if
Right.
it wasn't for that reading, I wouldn't have had that moment.
Right. Yeah. And that's what tarot's all about, is providing that sort of, you know, like I always talk about how angels send us signs to do things and or go this way or go that way. Tarot is sort of you saying, okay, I purposely want to figure out what signs are in front of me, you know, and it provides a path. I was just working with a student last week. She wanted some one-on-one time, which was really great, because what I really loved was I was using my regular working deck, right?
Okay.
So she's like, oh, I'm so used to the Rider-Waite, and she was translating each card back to the Rider-Waite. I'm like, that's such a good sign that she
It's
knows.
sticking.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. And she said, I kind of, you know, feel like I'm pointing out someone's path. I'm like, then let's lay out the cards like a path.
Well, and that's what I love about the Rider-Waite Smith. So I work off of the This Might Hurt Tarot, which is a modern retelling of the Rider-Waite Smith, and it does just enough difference that it appeals to a wide variety of people, but it keeps the essentials and a lot of the symbolism the exact same.
Right.
So it's very good in the keys to be able, like, and then so what I've learned is with each suit, the colorings, the backgrounds are significant to each suit.
Okay, right.
So you can tell that path of a story.
Yeah.
Like major arcana, overarching themes and, you know, journey, but also within the four elements of the suits, there is still that gradual path.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Very cool. Yeah. I love doing that in class where I tell someone to lay out the swords or lay out the major arcana or whatever suit and tell me the story.
Yep.
And it's weird how they're like, I never knew there was a story here.
Isn't that your mountain drawing?
That's for the numbers.
Oh, that's the numbers.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. Everyone loves
Still
the
have-
mountain drawing.
When I'm struggling when a card is like I draw blanks, I'm like, all right, what number are we on? Let me see if I can get it from there.
Yeah, I always ask students, like when they get stuck, I'm like, where on the mountain are you? Ask yourself, where am I on the mountain with this card? And then from there, just start describing the
But
card.
it also,
like literally describing.
I love how it interconnects with whatever cards are on the table, right? So the story changes depending on what's around it.
Yeah.
Or you're getting a very strong message from one card and it's reinforced by what's around it.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, we're going into like some tarot tidbitty lore
yeah.
stuff.
But that's what a lot of clients comment for me with, is that they're like, oh, you really picked out the story there. Like, I really am good at smoothing the cards all together kind of thing. And they love that. That's an aspect that they love.
My favorite too is I can make sense of the cards and they're like, wow, I'm glad you made sense of that because this meant nothing to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've done that where I've done readings for myself and I'm like, this means nothing. And it's not till like 6 months down the road. But I'm like, oh yes, that.
Well, it was cool because like the student that I had last week where I was doing one-on-one with her, she was giving me a reading basically.
Oh, cool.
So it was kind of nice because I was guiding her, but I also got a reading because as a reader, you know, you either pull the cards until you get the ones you want. Oh, the world again, I win. And
Yeah, we have creative cheating.
yeah, exactly. Or you become the shoemaker's children and you never get a reading because it is hard to read yourself because it's hard not to put your own bias and spin on it.
Yeah, but I feel like
Meditating with a card is different than reading.
yeah, so there's two different ways you can do that. You can read for yourself, which is different than meditating. And then there's meditating, which is like, what is this card trying to tell me? But not looking for the immediate answer.
Yeah.
A lot of when I was learning the tarot, what I used to do is, how did I do that? Did I pull a card at the beginning of the? No, a friend of mine, because I used to pull a card at the beginning of the day, and then she was like, I never pull the card at the beginning of the day because then I would self-prophesize.
Yeah, I
whatever
think
card
I
I
said
pulled.
that.
Yeah, you weren't the only one, but you were probably the first one I heard it from. It's now a popular belief that if you
pull
You're
it
like,
at the end of the day.
And then you're like, oh yes, the tower makes sense.
Yeah.
You
or,
know.
oh yes, the world makes sense. It
Yep.
was such a great day. I mean, it doesn't always have to be disastrous.
No,
right?
no. Just
But those are extreme examples, right?
in my line of work, we can tell when it's a full moon.
Yeah. You pull the devil card. Yes, I did eat a lot of candy today. What about it?
It was much needed. And you can kind of like learn the cards and the aspects about the card based on your day. And I'm reading a tarot book right now, which equates like the court cards to mostly, they're like, she's like, don't pick people you know, because then it'll just end badly. So like fictional people. So I'm like, ooh, now I want to do that. I want to like
Right.
sit with my cards and
Right.
be like, ooh, does this person make sense? And there's a couple of people that I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And there's a card that I pulled at the conference, and it was the Queen of Wands. And I'm like, hold on. Because it was like during one of the readings, the ancestor reading, like you're this person, and these two cards are your parents, and then you go back whatever generation.
Right. Yeah.
Fantastic reading. Learned a lot. Still need to deep dive a little bit further. But I don't think I'm the Queen of Wands.
Okay, that's the card you pulled for yourself, though.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I'm
Interesting.
not. Because like in some aspects, oh heck yes, I can see it. But
Right.
overall, I'm like,
Well, what do you think the Queen of Wands is like?
well, but like, based on this author's interpretation,
Yeah.
she was saying that like she has confidence, borderlines on arrogance, and I always walk into a situation humble, or I try to,
Yeah.
because
Because I can very much see you as a Queen of Wands, but that's my interpretation of the Queen of Wands.
well, and that's it. And I think that's where I have a different interpretation, and you may have a slightly different interpretation. I think ours are slightly similar, just because I've learned from you.
Right.
And then this author's interpretation is different, and I was just like, whoa, that's not me at all.
Because she's the mirror of the Empress in the Minor Arcana.
Okay, yes.
She's the domestic goddess, is sometimes her nickname.
okay.
She's huge animal lover and environmental advocate.
Okay, environmental advocate, animal lover, yes. Domestic goddess, no.
Right, yeah.
John shall be the first one to be like, are you kidding?
But domestic goddess doesn't mean you're a good housewife. It can also mean you're a homebody,
Yeah, totally.
you know. So yeah,
Before COVID,
and
very different, but now,
she's
yes.
she's very, like, my image of her is she's very open, hippie like, you know, like she,
Oh, yeah.
Stevie Nicks.
That's a good interpretation.
Yeah, that's
I'm
if I
totally
had
gonna,
to put
I'm gonna
a,
use that.
yeah, if I had to put a
Stevie
real
Nicks.
person to the
Oh, that should be
Queen
an
of
entire
Wands.
podcast. We should take some of the court cards
And
and do like a
see- like the magician.
Yeah.
I can't remember. You weren't in that class, but it was the class I did over COVID, so it was all online.
Okay.
But it was a really cool group, and we really gelled a lot. And we all sort of got laughing because it was an inside joke. The magician is Keanu Reeves.
Yep.
And it was just like, because we all loved Keanu Reeves, right? And the magician was very cool, and he knew what he was doing, and he was telling us how to do things, and it was just like, yeah, that's Keanu Reeves for sure.
I could see that.
I can't remember who it was. One student brought it up, and we all like
We're like,
wholeheartedly agreed. It's like,
Well, it's-
oh yeah,
It's really interesting when like kind of like a collective consciousness thought
yeah,
comes up.
yeah.
Because you're like, it may not be immediately apparent, but when you think about it, you're like, yeah, nothing else fits.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So we stopped using the term magician. We just called him Keanu.
Oh, we should end every episode. What do you think the devil card is?
The devil card. Oh.
Besides our, big orange neighbor.
Yeah. Well, I kind of think of the devil card as a sophisticated kind
Okay, then
of
not the orange neighbor.
like he can be charming, right?
Ooh, yes.
Because he does charm you into doing stuff you don't want to do, right? I mean, that's the whole Christian idea of him. So I'm thinking like,
Johnny Depp.
yeah, like Johnny Depp. Who's the guy that did American Psycho?
Oh, yes. Christian Bale?
Christian Bale. Thank you.
Okay. I was like,
Yeah.
bizarre movie knowledge not coming to my rescue.
Yeah, Christian Bale was one of the first images I kind of saw of that.
And depending on what generation you're from, that can change.
Yes.
Because I found, so when she was talking about one of the pages, she brought up, was it Edward Cullen? And I was like, hold on a minute. Because, like, I'm not a Twilight Twilight fan.
Right.
And so for me, that was like
I like the
furthest.
books, not so much the movie.
No, the soundtrack, amazing.
Oh, okay.
Because I watched a TikTok recently. Sorry, this is delving to the right. There was a social sciences teacher that took data, his own empirical study, that he played music during class, and the top 4 things were like Coldplay, Bella's Lullaby,
Oh, okay.
from Twilight.
Yep,
actually
yep.
got his kids writing and doing their work.
Wow.
I know.
Wow, cool.
I'll have to find the TikTok and put it in the comments because
One
like
of the best soundtracks is Guardians of the Galaxy.
yes,
They have
that's another thing.
every one of their movies has amazing soundtracks.
We should put a soundtrack to the tarot
Yes.
and fictional characters,
Yeah, that's a good idea. Or celebrities,
celebrities.
because they're almost fictional.
Yeah. Well, whatever, because like it could change. Like your generation versus my generation could be
Yeah.
very different.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And depending on your pop culture references, like where I got this book was Lisa Pepez's Unlocking the Tarot, Create Your Own Keys.
Okay.
And she uses everything from Edward Cullen to Indiana Jones to Xena to My Little Pony.
Oh, wow, really?
I know. I was like, hold on, left field.
I just had an image of Death riding in on My Little Pony. Takes away some of his,
Oh my
like...
his power of
street
like, woo. No, that is fantastic. So we should at least make a segment and figure out the card that we're working on
Yeah.
has a personification as a person
Yeah, yeah.
and
yeah.
also a fictional character
Yeah, absolutely.
and a song. Sorry.
Yeah, because I mean, that's why I love the fairy tale tarot deck.
Well, the
'cause-
archetypes are
Yeah.
really, really applicable, right?
Yeah, like the big bad wolf for the devil, definitely. I can totally see that, right?
Yep.
And who would you see, if it was a movie, who would play the big bad wolf?
There's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But Johnny Depp would be charismatic.
Oh, yeah. Well,
And-
Johnny Depp's good at whatever he does.
Yes.
You know that he was playing Pepe Le Pew when he was doing Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, totally.
I think there was a couple other characters
Oh, he was
mixing together.
channeling
but-
Keith Richards and some other
But he said
things.
Pepe Le Pew too, and I'm like, you are a soul person to me.
Yep.
Because I don't believe in soulmates, but yeah, we're connected instantly because obviously he's a Looney Tunes fan, and
And there's
yeah.
something about that. Like if you're a Looney Tunes fan, you get other Looney Tunes fans on a whole other level.
Oh, exactly. And talk about your 2D
Yes.
animation.
Oh,
Yes.
I grew up. I honestly think it's because I spent a lot of time with my grandparents. So and my grandfather always had to watch sports or some other thing in the kitchen, which was weird to me because when my parents had their own house, we were like, we're not putting a TV in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And so, but like Looney Tunes, it's like my first exposure to classical music
Yes.
or
yeah.
Disney and Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
And like just had such adult themes, but portrayed it that a kid could still understand it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Like
the
Barbara
whole
Seville.
riding down the white cow as the woman. There was a lot of cross-dressing.
My God, I know.
And Looney Tunes, which was totally hilarious
And
and
nobody
fun.
batted an eye.
No, exactly, because it
That's-
was hilarious.
It was hilarious, and
Yeah.
and it was still rather tastefully done. There we go. It was well done, but it was also tastefully done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Foghorn Leghorn always looking for the wife. And the Brainiac chick that, like the little baby chick he
Oh
always
yes.
has. It's like, I better not look in there because I just might be there. It's like,
Oh my goodness. Sorry for our
yeah, we're
side quest.
off in the Looney Tunes world.
Now I want to do like song title, fictional character, Looney Tunes character.
Yeah. Who would be the devil in the Looney Tunes character?
The coyote?
Yeah, maybe. Well, I don't know if he's sophisticated enough.
No,
maybe
he's not sophisticated
There's
enough.
two coyotes.
Bugs?
There's the coyote that chases the Roadrunner, but then there's Wile E. Coyote, right? And he, like, it's almost like he's got two versions of himself because he's the smart version when he's battling with Bugs Bunny.
Oh yes.
You know, because
He usually catches Bugs Bunny.
yeah, well, his name is Wile E. Coyote, and on his mailbox he's got that name, Genius, right? So Bugs Bunny knocks on his door and says, "Are you in Genius? Are you infallible? Are you?" And he goes on and on, right? Oh, but yeah. And he talks with a British accent. The Wile E. Coyote.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, inherently the British accent makes you sound more intelligent.
Yeah. But his name is Sam when he's... No, Sam is the dog.
Oh, with the sheep one?
Yeah.
God,
The sheepdog
Yeah,
one.
Sam's the sheepdog.
Yes. What was it? Frank is the other?
I think so. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, because he's got the whole breakfast thing. Like at the bed, lifts him up and
It's like,
pours coffee in his... Then he checks in a little bit late.
Yep.
Sam's already checked in, of course. They time out. They got time cards.
oh, that cracks me up. And my favorite, because it's always, is it Peregrine Suite? They're like, da 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 da. Anyway,
Yes.
I don't want to get music copyrighted here. But, again, classical music exposure. I ended up playing that in high school band.
Oh, cool, cool. Very nice. Yes, that's awesome. I played the French horn in the band. What did you
Oh,
play?
that takes skill.
Yeah, it does.
I don't have that much skill. I played the
It's-
flute.
It's the hardest one, they say. But yeah, we played a lot of Neil Diamond songs.
Cool.
And French horn, even though it's in the horn section, it often plays the percussion
Yep.
side of things.
Yep.
So
I
it
was
cool.
getting braces in grade 7.
Oh, okay.
So we started in grade 6, like the tail end of grade 6 and all the way through summer of grade 6. I brought home a flute, but I knew I was getting braces because I originally wanted the clarinet.
Oh, okay.
And they were like, no, we're
can't
not
do it
screwing
with
that
braces,
up.
yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
So I ended up on the flute, and I still can play about one song.
Okay. Oh, I haven't played the French horn in ages.
It's because I memorized it for band auditions. Like it's quite
Oh.
complicated.
Okay.
You ever,
Yeah.
you ever heard of Farandole?
What?
Oh, how does it even go?
I don't know it to hear it, but I would...
yeah, you'd probably know it to hear it. Or Furlies. I know how to play Furlies.
Oh, okay.
Not on the piano, which is surprising.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah. No, and I play better by ear, which is weird. Because, like, my music teacher could play me something and I could play it back to him. And I was better once I heard it. And then I could put where the notes were and how to do it. But, yeah, just clean out the spit valves and all that good stuff, right?
Oh. Yeah, the
Music class is
the
actually
trombone
really...
always had like a layer of paper towel.
Yeah, because they had to take the whole thing out. And, yeah, it's rather disgusting in music class.
the glamour shots nobody wants. To
Yeah,
know that.
exactly. And I always found the trumpets obnoxious.
Yeah, they're a little pompous.
Yeah, because really the loudest instrument in the band is the French horn. It can outblow anybody. I can outblow anybody.
I love it.
But yeah, I fell in love with the sound of it. It's just a beautiful, rich, deep sound.
Oh, when you figure out how to play it, it
yeah.
sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But when you're in a class of students who don't know how to play it, and the only one that's playing it is playing it incorrectly,
Yeah, that's not
sounds
so
pretty
good
at
then.
all.
But there was 2 of us, and one was a complete nerd. Like, just, he had a briefcase from day one. We were in a school, I went to Regiopolis, and we were in a uniform school.
Yep.
He was never out of uniform, even on non-uniform days.
Oh, I loved non-uniform. So I went to a high school that had a dress code, not a uniform.
Oh, okay.
They
yeah.
they came down from the uniforms and enlisted a dress code.
Oh,
A
okay.
few years before I got there.
Yeah.
So the non-uniform days, we lived for those days.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you had an outfit. You
Yeah.
were like, look at the
Oh, and so many people
boom.
were like trying to, because like there were things not mentioned in dress code, so they'd try like bright pink belts or like awesome
Right.
socks, and teachers would be like, stop
But the
it.
worst was when you forgot it was a non-uniform
Yes.
day and you showed up in uniform, you're like, fuck.
Or the opposite, when you're like, oh yeah, it's non-uniform day, and you're like, oh shit, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Back
Yeah,
I go.
that didn't really happen too often in our school because usually you showed up at school in jeans and your white blouse that you had to wear, and then you'd put your kilt on, and your sweater were always in your locker.
Oh, that's fair.
So even if you forgot, you'd at least have a T-shirt or something on.
Yeah.
So you could wear it. It didn't look right, but you know.
It worked.
And you still got snide comments from teachers going, "Oh, you didn't wear the right thing today."
I'm really glad I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
The most I have to worry about as far as like rules are concerned, because there's a lot of higher things of concern than dress code.
Right.
Are some teachers are very much not hat people. So like I haven't been to schools that have like a no hat policy, but some teachers will still have a no hat policy.
Oh, yeah. You can't wear your baseball hat
Yeah.
or whatever. Right. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's just a sign of respect, right? Like, you know,
Oh, totally.
it's sort of like no phones at the table
Or in class.
or in class. Yeah. Do a lot of kids have phones these days?
I don't know. I'm in the younger grades.
Oh, okay.
So I don't really know, but like from what I remember of last year, because I had to do lunch duty in a 8 class, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It was rough. I was like, guys, they didn't give you permission. Put it away.
Yeah.
And it got bad. I had to do some. I don't like to tattle on the kids, but when it involves cyberbullying, there's like a hard no on that.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
of
so
course.
there was
yeah.
there were some calls to the office and.
Yeah, because my kids didn't have phones until they were in grade 7, 8, I think. And,
I had my
and at
first
that
phone.
point, it was just the flip phone.
Yeah.
Right? There was no video or anything to go with it. So.
And God forbid you press the internet button. You were like, no, cancel.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't have data.
And the only rule was they can never not answer if it was mommy or papa calling.
No, that's fair.
If you don't answer, I am going to fucking track you down. I'm going to assume you're in a ditch somewhere.
Yeah, no, I got the you're not getting your own phone until you can afford it. So I didn't get my own phone till high school.
Oh, well, part of it was I wanted them to be able to, like, because of school and stuff.
Oh, totally.
Tell me.
now that's the case.
Yeah, tell me.
But
you're
I got
going
away
over
with that.
here or whatever.
I got, what are you doing after school? I don't know. I might go to, like, Susie's over down the road. And Mom's like, okay, be home by dinner.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. No, we, because we were long distance from school, we wanted to know if they needed a pickup or if if they were going somewhere else and what time will you be home? What time do you need a pickup? Do you have a ride home? Whatever it might be, right?
Oh, yeah, my brother's got, so we're 9 years apart. My parents, with me, were like, you're affording your own phone. We're not buying you one.
Yeah.
Turned around, and I mean, this just shows you the span of time that it didn't take that long.
Yeah.
My brother's had a phone by grade 7.
Right. Yeah. Well, my youngest brother's 16 years younger than me. He got away with hell, I tell you.
It's because he was the baby.
He was a baby.
Because he was the baby of the family. They have a special place in parents' eyes.
Yeah, they do. And yeah, Dad still did everything for him right up until the end kind of thing. And I'm like, my dad would never do that for me. Well, my dad did do a lot, don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, our parents loved us. I love how nowadays, like, we're promoting independence in the kids, and sometimes some of the kids are like, I can't do it. I'm like, so next time, don't put your gloves on first and do your jacket up first. Exactly. And then I make them take their gloves off and try to do the jacket up. I don't help them until they show me they've at least tried.
Right. Yeah, no, that's fair, and that's a good way to be, right?
Within reason. Like, if it's one of the kiddos that, like, legitimately will never get outside if you don't help them, I'm yeah, let's go.
Like, if someone's missing a hand, help them do up their jacket.
Yeah, of course. I'm not going to, like, stand there and go on, you can do it.
You can do it. Get your foot up there.
I mean, there are some talented people who...
Oh, I know, right? I always joke and say I couldn't lose my hands because I couldn't do things with my feet. I'm too old.
I honestly think then this is where it kind of I have a book for you before I forget. There's like
oh, hello.
Ooh, what's that?
Oh.
It's a Temu.
There we go. It's done.
It's whatever it is. I get those every so often. I'm like, how did you get my number?
Yeah, right.
And there's a book that is like neuroscience on tarot, and it's like I'll try and read it between now and maybe next month.
Yeah.
Maybe in January.
Yeah.
I'll have a review.
Or even send me a pic of it so I can grab it. I'd be interested in that for sure. I'll add it to my list of books.
I read the synopsis and I was like, yep, that sounds like something up my alley.
Cool.
The brain and tarot.
So the devil card, again, is not the reason why tarot was banned by the Catholic Church. Oh. It was the high priestess. And it's not about demonic possession or demonic devils floating around you. It's about your own limitations that you've put on yourself. And it's about facing your own demons, facing your own shadows. And shadows aren't always a bad thing. It's not it's not always like, your shadow side is about jealousy or whatever. It can be those things, definitely. but sometimes your shadow side, you need to face it. And sometimes the devil card will come up when you need to look at your shadow side and see what you're doing, what's holding you back. Because a lot of times your shadow side is something, even a good thing, that's maybe holding you back in some way. Or it can, like many books say, be about addiction and whatnot. You have a passage?
Well, just to add what you were saying, so like, the guardian stirs irrational fears in the muddy bottom of the human subconscious and fills the timid soul with foreboding, charged with inhuman and unseen sentience, feeding off fear and panic with malevolent joy. This is where I want to, but within the sardonic and chaotic energy lies wisdom, courage, and strength.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, I am not. I do believe that there's evil entities out there, just as there are good ones.
Yep.
And when you're, like you said, when you're in that bog of, you know, am I good enough? Am I a horrible person? Like, you're inviting those entities to feed off of you and to, you know, like you said, with joy, encourage that, you know, hey, yeah, you are an awful person, la la la, right? But at the same time, when you face those things and you brush them off, and you're able to overcome them, whether it be a devil of your own making or an entity you've invited in, even by accident. We do it by accident all the time. We're not purposely going, hey, evil, come visit me.
I actually don't want to put a wreath up this year because I realized that they're portals. I was like, okay, I need to guard my door before I put a wreath up.
Okay, yeah. And you know, it's the overcoming and the the choices that we make. We can't change the choices we've already made, but we can always, no matter where you are, no matter where you're starting, no matter how bad things are that you think they're impossible to overcome, you can always baby step your way out of the bog. And, you know, embrace the strength of you, the love of you, and the preciousness of you. You are so, so precious because we are all connected and we are all love and we are all spiritual love beings having a human experience.
Agreed.
Yeah.
You said that very well.
Oh, thank you.
I don't have much to add to that.
There you go. So I guess that's a night for us.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us. Sorry. Another text message from my family.
People are trying to get a hold of her. We have held her hostage for the podcast too long.
That's right. But thank you so much for being here. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Put in the comments who you think the devil is as a celebrity.
Ooh, yes, that'd be a good one. And we will revisit that before the next one.
Yes, exactly. And then, of course, like our podcast or our video, share it with your friends, subscribe to our channel, ring the fairy bell. Did I hit everything?
I think so.
And then also, okay, I got messages coming in, but also find us on social media too.
Yes.
She's Wayward Spirit. I'm Goddess Garage. You'll find us. Just type those things in and you'll find it. All right. Take care. Have a great night. Bye. Oh my God, my family.
They really want to get a hold of you.
Yes, they do.
Oh, I